The new year begins with millions of Catholics around the world offering up prayers and mourning for the loss of Pope Emeritus Benedict, who died Saturday at the age of 95. His body is lying in state at St. Peter's Basilica, where public viewing begins Monday. Earlier today, Pope Francis presided over Mass in Vatican City, sending prayers for his predecessor. Now let's go to CNN's Frederick Pleitgen live in St. Peter's Square. Now, the former Pope left a final letter published after his death, and in it, he asked for forgiveness from those he thought he had, quote, wronged. What can you tell us about this letter and its meaning?
Hi there, Paula. Well, it was a pretty lengthy letter that he left behind to those in the Catholic Church, which he oversaw, but then also, of course, to the many other people that he dealt with throughout his life as well. And that letter touches on many subjects. It touches on, when he was born, him thanking his parents, thanking the Catholic Church, also his new home, as he put it, here in Rome, but also Bavaria, which is, of course, where he comes from as well. But it was quite interesting, and that was also that segment that we took a lot of note of as well, where he asked for forgiveness for those that he had wronged, as he put it. And I want to read to you that passage real quick, just so our viewers can hear. He said, quote, "To all those I have wronged in any way, I sincerely ask for forgiveness. What I said before to my compatriots, I now say to all those in the Catholic Church who have been entrusted to my service. Remain firm in the faith. Don't get confused." So obviously, despite that there may be people that he had wronged, he's asked for people to keep the faith and to remain loyal to the Catholic Church. Of course, one of the things that we had been talking about over the years, reporting when Pope Benedict was still in office, was the fact that the Catholic Church was dealing with those sex abuse scandals and generally abuse scandals in that time. And many felt that Pope Benedict wasn't taking the action that many felt that he should have. And in fact, in the final months of his life, he acknowledged that he had made mistakes in the past. This was pertaining to the time before he was Pope, when he was the Archbishop of Munich in the late 1970s and early 1980s, acknowledging that mistakes had taken place there as well. So this could pertain to that. It could pertain to a lot of other things as well. One of the other things that we also picked up on that letter was way at the end, where he said that despite the fact that he had many flaws about him, that he had committed sins, that he humbly asked, as he put it, to be taken into God's heaven nevertheless. So those were the final words really in that letter that he left behind, and something, of course, that was very important here in Rome and in the Vatican as well, Paula.
And I want to go back to one of the moments, really the most significant moment of his tenure. He shocked the world's 1.2 billion Catholics by announcing he was going to resign. How consequential was that decision at the time?
Well, I would think it was something that was hugely consequential, because it was something where he was the first pope to resign, and I think it was around 600 years. It was simply something that was unheard of. But at the same time, I think many people also felt that it was quite a strong step, because he was acknowledging that he was not up to the task of running this gigantic organization. And, Paula, I was actually here in St. Peter's Square when he became pope. I saw him here on that balcony when he took the reins of the Catholic Church. He was already 78 years old at that time and had already been a hugely influential cardinal here in the Catholic Church for decades before that, since the early 1980s. There's a lot of people who say that he was one of the most influential people really in a long time in the Catholic Church, and really ran the place, really the second one behind Pope John Paul II at that time. But he was already 78 years old when he took the reins of the Catholic Church. And for the first couple of years when he was Pope, he did exude a lot of energy. I remember the World Youth Day in Cologne in 2005, where hundreds of thousands of people showed up. But you did notice that as time went on, some of these scandals came to light. There were a lot of issues in the Catholic Church that he simply lost a lot of that energy. He felt he was not up to it anymore. And I think a lot of people believe that it was a pretty strong step on his part to then acknowledge that he was not up to the task of running this gigantic organization, which also needed some fresh leadership at the top at that point, many people felt as well.